The meeting of the Appomattox County Board of Supervisors is now called back into session. After thinking about this, gentlemen, I think if we want to put a postponement on this, I was looking, well, Mr. Simpson, I'd given you my copy of that resolution. The loose copy of the resolution I gave you.
Oh,
Since you
sorry.
didn't. Reverend Jones, in the conditions here, we have that we'd added, the owner and developer shall be responsible to coordinate and obtain any necessary permitting, including environmental from state and/or federal agencies relating to operation of an outdoor shooting range. The federal EPA best management projects practices guide shall be utilized at all times during development of this range. And I think if you want to add any other conditions to that, like, let's say, meet, some people are concerned about the roads, meet any VDOT approvals if necessary, and that, you know, we make a motion to either go forward or say, table it until we can add what you need in here to satisfy your group under the conditions of the resolution.
Mr. Chairman, I make a
Reverend
motion. I make a motion that this issue be tabled. Do I need a timeline?
Well, February meeting, I would like.
So I make a motion that we table this motion, table this decision until February meeting. What else do I need?
To consider additional restrictions, I guess.
Would that be?
That's fine.
Is that satisfactory?
Yeah, that's fine. I mean, we'll provide you options.
Mr. Chairman, thinking while we recessed, we are bound by state law to not consider noise as an isolated item in consideration of this. The DEQ in the runoff plan will consider any sort of surface water contamination. The operations and ongoing use are governed by federal law. If somebody brings a brick of C4, they get arrested by the FBI. The safety is governed through various statutes. What we have to decide, and I don't think this is something that we can delegate or push to staff or, drag on, is does it fit within that particular zoning district? My question, what I would like to see are simply additional detailed or terrain view layouts like this. And I can appreciate, I love drawing maps and stuff. I like the Sharpie map, but if we could get doesn't have to be necessarily a professional engineer, but a GIS software, like go in ArcGIS, draw the lines, and let's see a terrain view, because I can't see, I can kind of see the arrows, but it's not big enough for me to really get a feel to have a plan that's in the record of this is how it's going to be used. So that's what I would ask for. If we do table it, ask the applicant to produce a detailed GIS-based plan view showing the lanes and positions, knowing that ultimately this is a political decision that we were elected as Board of Supervisors to make, and there are going to be people who don't like it, and there are going to be people who do like it, and that's just our burden that we cannot delegate.
Mr. Simpson, talking to that, my concern is then that, yes, we get this layout, and as he said, this is a projected, and then they do their engineering study, and the person that comes in is actually going to design the range, comes up with a totally different range than what he's proposed that you've looked at.
The engineering does not design the ranges, right? The engineering
No,
just-
the things they're gonna do is have another engineer come in and design the ranges. Didn't you say that, a professional?
So all of the actual range SDZs are going to be done off of what the American military's specifics are. So I have all of the certifications from the United States Marine Corps to determine what is safe and what is not. So as far as the Appomattox County, the Virginia State Code, we would adhere to all of that as far as standoff from property lines. But as far as the directions of fire, what we would look at is what direction are the impact areas compared to any dwellings and the natural terrain features. One of the things that I would welcome every one of the board members to do is please come out to this piece of property. It is way bigger than you could ever imagine sitting here. So when you look down into this bowl, and you ask yourself, could a bullet leave this piece of property? It's way different than it looks on that map. So, you know.
And I appreciate you offering that, and walking the land would, of course, give you context on it. But what we need is something that can go in a record.
Right.
I need 11 by 17 printouts that can sit in that cabinet for the next 30 years, and then if it's with that land and in 30 years still operating and none of us are in government anymore, somebody needs to be able to go back and check the record.
Right.
So to be able to
I have a quick
understand,
question.
yes.
Are you saying that the only impact, so the way this works at every other facility in the United States is that these impact areas can move for various reasons. So the direction of fire wouldn't change, but impact areas would. There could be multiple reasons, like lead contamination in the berm. They come mine the berm. We decide that we want to move the berm. There's a bunch of reasons why that would change. So one of the things that I would question is legally, are we bound by that drawing, or are we bound by the Virginia code?
It helps, in the way that I see it, it helps me make ultimately the gut decision as to whether or not it fits within the zoning use.
Yes, sir.
I need to see something to see what is your intended, and it's partially good faith. It's partially you are erecting permanent or at least semi-permanent earthwork. I don't know how much you're spending to build it, but there's going to be something that's not going to move, that's going to be indicative to how you run this facility.
Mm-hmm.
And again, I can appreciate this map, but in any project, this in my mind would not be sufficient to appease the rest of the questions that we have.
Okay. What would you like to see on it so I can make sure that I fully,
Because, yeah, and the other question I have is, you referenced to in order to make a zoning decision, how is that map going to help you make the zoning? Because there's nothing in our zoning that says, hey, this has got to go this way, this has got to go
Right.
this way as far as the design. So there's nothing in our code about the design of his range. So how is the design of his range going to help you make a zoning decision?
So there's two things. So there's enforcement after the fact. A plan that we're asking for in the planning process is not something, I would imagine, it's not something that we could require compliance with after the conditional use permit is granted. It may change or what have you. This planning would not be for that purpose. This planning would be for us as individuals to better understand what it even looks like. So you can accomplish that with going out there and walking it, but going out there and walking it, I also can't see on a sheet of paper to say it's going to go this way. We can stand out there and point our arm and say it's going to go this way, but I want to be able to make an informed decision about, okay, somebody's house is here, you're probably going to fire this type of weapon here, and get a feel for it, and be able to sit with it and look at it. And I don't think that that's happened in our process, and it's not the fault of the applicant. It's
But then
just
the
that we've
other-
never dealt with a project like this.
But then the other thing I heard you say about enforcement later, and as he said, ranges change due to different, changes in the terrain, or a berm fails and needs to be rebuilt or whatever. So now what you're saying is, this is a plan you turn for approval, you got to meet this plan. So if he moves a berm 100 yards, then he's got to come back in for approval based on what you're saying.
That's the duality of this. So the enforcement after the fact, maybe that's what we can ask the county attorney and staff to look at. What would be the thing that might survive or be a condition in the CUP versus what information I need as a supervisor to be able to make an informed decision.
Mr. O'Rourke.
So to answer your question, so one of the conditions that the Plan Commission recommended and is in the resolution
It's actually, the first condition is that it will be in general conformance with the concept plan. The drawing you reference right there is the concept plan. So those large boxes, the green and the blues, give an approximation of locations of A, shooting positions, B, impact zones. Targets can actually be within the impact zone at any distance. So it could be 100 feet, 200 feet, 1,000 feet within the impact zone, but generally in conformance. So zoning compliance for a permit, if it was issued under that condition, would be that the arrangement of the range would fit into those specific areas.
So then that's the answer to the second part, the enforcement part of the question. That's solved. The first part still would be what I asked for, and I'll make that as in the form of a motion. I don't know if we still. If
His
there was
motion's still on the floor.
I'll move to amend that, or we table it, but the clear action we're looking for would be the production of a site plan that's shows more than just
Shows
this.
topography.
Topography.
You want the topography to be shown.
Yes, just something more detailed than, like, I can't, it's 8.5 by 11 sheet of paper. I mean, I can't really evaluate it. So that's a motion.
Can you restate that, please?
Yes.
To produce,
No, the whole motion.
I move that we table the current conditional use permit until such time that we have received a more comprehensive site plan which the comprehensive would be at the discretion of staff with multiple views and topography to allow us to make a decision.
Do you accept that revision to your motion, Reverend Jones?
I do.
Is there a second to the revised motion as stated by Mr. Simpson?
He could second his own. If he, Mr. Chairman, if he accepts the amended motion, then he can second the motion. Otherwise, you're going to have 3 people second something.
Yeah.
Or whatever.
All right, motion's been made and seconded to table it in order to get additional information, revised and more detailed site plan. So any further discussion?
I'll just say that this is not the fault of the applicant. New type of project, and it's something that we have to, establish process for maybe in the future, but we just need some more plans.
All right, hearing no further discussion,
No,
call the.
Mr. Chairman,
Mr.
sorry.
Hips?
Yeah. I think we're out in left field here. I don't think this is the right direction. This is my opinion. Ambiguous, and I think that you're kicking the can down because I don't know how you could be. It's hard for me to imagine that we're going to be satisfied by someone kind of and I just don't think that there's enough there to satisfy actually is. And what I think the problem actually is more specifically that people want to know if it's safe.
I think, well, right, and at that point, we don't have to the conditional use permit, like, we don't have to vote on it at that point, but I don't even think we're at the point of being able to staff could come back with, because at this point, we don't have any framework for determining what an engineer would look for safety or anything else. So in the interim, if we need a safety plan, or how we would even put that as a condition.
I think it's important, Mr. Chairman, if I may.
Mr. Hips?
I think it's, gentlemen, guys, I just need your attention so that way you can jump in if I think it's important that we remember how we got to this point. When you bring up something like the site plan not satisfying your criteria, all of this has the sign-off of various departments, right?
At a site plan level, not at this level. At this level, they do what I call a cursory preliminary review.
Right, so we have your determination. But I'm saying, you handed us this thing.
Yes. I mean,
And you wrote a
it is a
plan.
conditional use within the A1 zoning district, so the petitioner applied
Yeah.
for a conditional use.
And you wrote a plan. And you wrote a plan, or that, you filled out the documentation, and went through the planning commission.
Yes, it went through the plan commission, and they made a recommendation.
Right. And so I'm just saying that I will be voting no on this specific action because my interest would be, if you want to come back next month, you add a condition to this sheet. The focus would be, adding a condition to this resolution that would satisfy the safety concerns that Mr. Jones had brought up. However, point of order, we can vote on this, Mr. Chairman, if you wish.
Mr. Chairman, I withdraw. In favor, Mr. Hibbs.
All right, Reverend Jones is withdrawing his motion. County Attorney, can we do that after it's been seconded?
Once a motion has been seconded, it usually must be voted upon. But if the entire board unanimously agrees to dispense with the rules and allow the motion to be withdrawn, it can be withdrawn.
Mr. Chairman, I'd take no objection. Everybody else is. If we're going in a different direction, let's go there.
Does everyone agree to suspend the rules so that Reverend Jones can withdraw his motion? Mr. Wolfskill says so. Mr. Hips?
Yeah.
Reverend Jones already did, and Mr. Sims does, so I agree too. Okay, so
I would make a motion, Mr. Chairman, that we, between now and the February, what's the date? 20, I don't know. That's a Tuesday, right? Again?
17th, yes.
Between now and February 17th, that, and Mark, you're going to have to help me with the language on this because I'm not exactly sure how to pare this down. That the county and Mr. Rourke and the petitioner work together to add a condition to this, essentially that, whether it's a consultant or engineer or whoever it is, signs off on this, can make a recommendation to say that it's safe.
I'll second.
Okay, motion been made by Mr. Hips and seconded by Reverend Jones.
Mr. Chairman, I don't understand the motion. We're gonna get a consultant, who's gonna get the consultant, who's gonna pay the consultant?
Well, I
And
don't-
what is the consultant gonna evaluate, is it safe?
What,
We're being nonsensical.
Well, gentlemen, in the proposal, original proposal, he talks about that this will be designed in accordance with specifications by professionals
Exactly.
for firing ranges. And we have
Spells them out.
experienced range officers and
It spells
that
it
have
out.
experience designing ranges. I would say that if safety's your concern, then if they're gonna design it according to specifications, then I would say maybe the condition would be that a third party verify that what the professionals had designed?
See, that's where we get into there's no actual process that's already been established. We're trying to manufacture a process in relation to a conditional use permit, which is not the intention of a conditional use permit. By code, this has already been adjudicated by the voters. They have said, longstanding, for how many ever odd years since it was defined as a defined use, that it is allowed subject to the discretion of, or the suggestion of the planning commission and the discretion of the board of supervisors. What I'm suggesting and saying is that I feel like I can't make that discretionary decision based on this sheet of paper.
Well, that sheet of paper is not going to, excuse me, Mr. Chairman.
Mr. Webskill?
That sheet of paper is not going to help you go tour the site.
Right, and doing that and seeing still just something additional in terms of how the land lays, a detailed view of each impact zone. That would be what, I would look for. I don't think it's an undue burden to develop that, even at this point. Develop additional layouts and views. Like one thing I want to know how many linear feet of border are on properties that have primary residences on them. I want to know, was that, when did that rezoning occur? What was the logic behind that rezoning? These things do impact where the impact zones should be. I think it plays into it.
Mr. Chairman,
Mr. Hips?
this is all over the place, and this is uncharted territory here for this board. I can't remember a more convoluted meeting. February 17th, is that correct? I would make a motion that we.
We already have a motion on the floor.
Okay, well, I'm going to rescind my motion and make a replacement motion. That we would table this until the February 17th meeting. Period. That way.
Well, first I have to get another
That way-
agreement from the board to accept your withdrawing the meeting since
All right.
it's already been seconded. So if you want to withdraw or
All right, I'll rescind my previous motion. Okay.
Mr. Chairman,
Mr. Roskill?
is that fair to the applicant and/or the citizens? What are we going to accomplish by waiting another month? It's going to be the same exact meeting a month from now, won't it?
I'm hoping in that month that people will get the questions answered that they could have already had answered prior to tonight. I know Mr. Bowman gave an invitation to come to the property. One supervisor came, to my knowledge.
I went. But he made the invitation.
Mr. Roskill?
Mr. Chairman, I withdraw
Chairman
my
Jones?
second.
And quite frankly, Mr. Simpson, I don't know how you digging into the details as to when all those other properties were zoned and had this done to them and that done is going to help you make a decision on that. To me, you're just getting into
No, it's
minutia.
no, sir. So it's to establish, maybe we need, well, to me, it's important was, what is the zoning classification of those houses? Like, I want to look at what the decision was when it put the houses in.
GSI will tell you the zoning classification of those units, those houses.
Right, and that's information that would be in a plan. It'd be looking at the adjoiners. But anyway, regardless of that,
Mr.
I don't
O'Rourke,
think
would you answer this
delaying
up?
it-
Mr. O'Rourke can tell you what the zoning
I
classification
can
of all
answer
those
that
are.
question tonight. So the 4 or 5 lots that are on the backside, on White Abbott side, are zoned R1. You may not be able to tell that there, but there's 4 or 5 lots on the backside that are zoned R1. They were zoned that way when the zoning ordinance was put in place in 1988. So for some of you that don't know the history, I'll give it very briefly. But in 1988, they established zoning in the county, and they went around, staff people at the time went around, and the way they zoned the county is where they saw clusters of houses, they zoned them R1, R2, and then the rest of the county, some B1s, M1s, whatever, the rest of the county was zoned A1. So the rest of this area, this whole area, at that time was also established as A1 in 1988 with the initial approval and adoption of the zoning ordinance.
But there were recently lots cut off.
Those lots are still zoned A1, just because a lot is, that's the minimum size. The 1 acre and 150 feet is the minimum size in A1. So those lots were cut off in A1, single-family residential, manufactured home, those type of things are by right uses within. So those lots were cut off as 1 acre minimum lots and used for by right use.
So what I think is,
All right, Mr. Simpson.
if we're just delaying it for no reason, then I would rather think, why are we delaying it? Then the board just needs to decide whether or not we're going to approve this. If there's no, we're requesting from the landowner or from staff, then it just causes undue burden from the landowner and makes the public stay thing on their mind for the next 30 days for no reason. So if you guys aren't supportive of asking the applicant to produce additional plans, then we just need to vote on it.
Well, I personally, I understand the plan and so I don't have any need to see a bigger or blow up or additional talking about, but that's me personally.
Sure.
And I understand that they're going to do it according to specifications set by professionals. I understand they're going to have to get DEQ. And they're going to be monitored by these other agencies. They're going to abide by the noise ordinance. Other than the possibility of, which to me would be another step, is, we're questioning professionals by having a they've done according to professional standards, or will do according to the professional standards of the range building community.
That's just added cost, added delay with, even if they produce something, we don't have a defined framework for enforcement. So I think that's just,
Right.
perfunctory.
So here we are, folks. We either, gentlemen, either approve a no resolution, we make a motion to resolution that we're given tonight with those specific added conditions regarding the fencing. The condition was added, 100-foot wide buffer area shall be maintained around the perimeter property lines to the facility. There should be no buffer area required against an on the concept plan submitted, etc. Warning signs at 100 feet, that's additional thing that they agreed with. Additional thing was firing points should be not less than 1,000 unless a proper design backstop is utilized, then the minimum distance may be reduced to 200 feet from the target. No position or discharge point should be ordered towards any publicly ordered road or maintained or dwelling. No explosive targets used, no reactive explosive materials, no targets designed to explode or detonate upon impact. They agree to prohibiting all those. Yards from all exterior property lines. Noise ordinance compliance. Maintain accessible route for emergency vehicles, which is one of, brought up about possible fire. Well, they're going to maintain that, the fire trucks can get in there. EPA best management products.
in absence of a vote, and I look out the room, I see a lot of people that I respect your opinions. Point, we have a couple of pages. Our current understanding of it is, and will it negatively in an undue way? And we have to trust the people who have staff time doing this and dozens of hours in putting it together. To that point, in absence of any other motion, and in knowing the impact that this will have on people, but also weighing it with what we're allowed to govern by Virginia code, we can't govern on noise. Create arbitrary mental requirements. It's not something that is within our purview. That's the EPA or other jurisdictions. I'll make the motion that we approve the conditional use permit.
Mr. Chairman,
Mr. Hips?
the point of my motion that was seconded was clear that I think that they could ask the petitioner, perhaps to visit the property, and do whatever they need to do to make a decision. I can withdraw that motion, and we can call for a vote. Motions on the point of order, I'd ask for a vote on my motion that was seconded, that we table until February 18th meeting. If we don't want to do that, then
All right,
go from there.
thank you for reminding me that your motion was still out there. Got lost in minutia. Mr.
No, I did not withdraw that.
Mr. Hips made the motion, it's been seconded that we table it till the February 17th in order to times to get with the planning, with Mr. O'Rourke and also the petitioner to get their questions answered that's specifically bothering them. And then, so based on that motion, the motion to table so that supervisors can get additional research. Vote. Hips motion to table in February.
No.
Mr. Hips?
Aye.
Mr. Simpson?
No.
Reverend Jones?
Aye.
Well, since the people who had the most questions, so the motion to table till February's been,
Mr. Chairman, I would call to order. I would make a motion that we approve the conditional use permit with the exceptions listed.
well, point of order, we need a motion. 10:30.
Mr. Chairman, ask that we, well, how late do we want to go? Well, we have a whole meeting. We don't just have this.
That's right.
So we want to, all right. Mr. Chairman, I would make a motion that we continue until we adjourn, past our 10:30 bylaw time.
I'll second.
Okay, motion made and second to go past the 10:30 bylaw time until we finish what's on the agenda. Is there any further discussion? All right, call the vote. Mr. Simpson?
Aye.
Reverend Jones?
Aye.
Mr. Hips?
Aye.
Mr. Wilson? I vote aye also. Continue until the meeting is adjourned. Hips?
I would make a motion that we approve the conditional use permit with the except 10 conditions stated on this document, on this resolution.
Taking a motion to vote on the alternate resolution number 2 that has the additional conditions on it.
Yes.
All right. Is there a second? That's. Any further
Yeah, I'll second that.
Okay, Mr. Simpson. Discussion?
Mr. Chairman,
Jones.
I would like to see something amended in terms of church service. Shooting not going on during church hours. I don't know how we mitigate that, but that is a serious issue.
How would we word that, County Attorney?
I think the motion's been seconded.
Yes, motion been seconded. So,
But, so in discussion, I'll ask that question. That, to me, I went to Evergreen Baptist Church when I was 8 years old, and door contract, and they like, I don't think they live in Appomattox County, I don't know. But I just remember distinctly, rapid is something that happens in Appomattox County. So I don't know if that's a undue, you can really, in good faith, require. Because a private landowner could invite 3 of their friends, and if they have an FFL, you could just shoot all you want to. And that's what our ordinance allows. I don't even know what state code would allow us to do to inhibit people shooting guns on their own property.
any other discussion? All right, motion's been made and seconded. Or approve the zoning variance along with the resolution number 2, which has the call for the vote. Mr. Simpson?
Aye.
Reverend Jones?
No.
Mr. Hips?
Aye.
Mr. Wolfskill? I vote no. Motion carries 3-2. So the conditional permit has been approved. All right, next up is the public hearing regarding Appomattox 19.6-87.2 cemetery association. There is no one signed up at this time to speak regarding this public this,
Let's hang on.
On. They're on, remember, the EPA? No, so how did that pass for going with the EPA?
We're gonna have to do with the EPA.
I'm sorry, what?
meeting room, we're still trying to hold a meeting here.
Get a permit from the.
Let's just give them a minute, if you don't mind.
They need to get a permit from the EPA.
No, what you're telling me is they have to get a permit
That's
from
what
the
the
EPA?
condition
That's
says
what
they,
this says.
it says that
They have to. I
they have
want-
to get one.
Okay, I
Yeah.
want you to
Right
send
there-
me a
right there in your
copy
email.
of this. I don't want
And you did confirm with me in front of the prosecutor that the fencing is now is inadequate to satisfy the
I
ordinance.
still got to talk to him about what would be adequate fencing. That's what he said.
you have to talk to who about that?
The county attorney.
Can you?
All right, public hearing from Appomattox Code, Section 19-6-87.2, cemetery, family, church, and private association for profit. A duly advertised public hearing has been scheduled to receive comments on a proposal amendment to zoning ordinance section 19.6-87.2 related to the minimum lot size for cemetery lots. The proposed amendment would eliminate minimum lot size at the December regular meeting of the Planning Commission, and the commission voted unanimously to recommend approval of the proposed amendment. Any comments regarding the change in code for cemetery and family church, private association cemeteries?
Mr. Chairman, I move that we approve. Or was there, we're just in public comment? Yeah, there's nobody here.
Yep. All right, Mr. Simpson, you made the motion to approve?
Yes.
Is there a second? Mr. Wolfskill made a second. Any further discussion? All righty, call the question on approving the change to the cemetery code. Mr. Simpson?
Aye.
Reverend Jones?
Aye.
Mr. Hips? Mr. Wolfskill? I vote aye also. All right, next up is public hearing on Light Shift Energy LLC sitting agreement. A duly advertised public hearing has been scheduled to receive comments on sitting agreement submitted by the Light Shift Energy LLC with respect to proposed battery storage facility to be constructed in conjunction with the new Central Virginia Electric Cooperative Electric Substation to be located in the Appomattox Center for Business and Commerce. Per the sitting agreement, the Light Shift Energy DBA Appomattox VA Best will provide one-time capital payment of $10,000 and one-time charitable contribution of $10,000 and will pay for local fire department training related to battery storage. Do we have a vote to approve that agreement?
So moved.
Reverend Jones has moved to approve the agreement. Is there a second? Mr. Wolfskill seconded. Discussion? Called for the vote. Mr. Wolfskill? Mr. Hips? Reverend Jones?
Aye.
Mr. Simpson?
Aye.
I vote aye also. All right, next up, Board of Supervisors 2026 meeting schedule. We talked about it at the organizational meeting, and it's printed for you. Is there a motion to approve the schedule? Mr. Wolfskill made the motion to adopt the 2026 Board of Supervisors meeting schedule. Is there a second?
Second.
Reverend Jones has seconded the motion. Discussion? All right, all those in favor of adopting the 2026 Board of Supervisors meeting schedule, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right, we've adopted the 2026 Board of Supervisors meeting schedule has been adopted. Next up is the FY27 budget work session calendar. Please review the draft Board of Supervisors budget work session calendar and consider approval of the suggested dates and times. Adopt or amend the FY 2027 budget work session calendar as presented. Is there any changes or a motion to accept it as presented? Mr. Wolfskill's made the motion to accept the work session calendar as presented. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Mr. Simpson seconded. Any further discussion? All right. Mr. Wolfskill, how do you vote? Aye. Mr. Hips? Aye. Reverend Jones?
Aye.
Ms. Simpson?
Aye.
I vote aye also. FY 2027 budget work session calendar has been approved. Next up is Planning Commission. At the November 25th meeting, the board tabled the appointment of courthouse district representative to serve on the Planning Commission until 2026. The term ends December 31st. Recommend consider appointment. I understand there's been a recommendation and you all were handed a,
Mr. Chairman,
Ms. Simpson.
Derek is here. You guys have his resume. I think it was passed out. But he's insurance agent with Farm Bureau, has a background in, I think, construction management for a little bit. And I would like to propose that we appoint him to the Planning Commission.
Okay, Mr. Simpson's made the proposal to adopt I was looking for his name. What was his name again?
Derek Lee.
Yeah, there we go. Mr. Lee to the Planning Commission for a term that ends in 2029. Is there a second to the motion? Mr. Wolfkill seconded. Any further discussion? All those in favor of appointing Mr. Lee to the Planning Commission, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right, Mr. Lee's been appointed. All right, next up is the consent agenda. The consent agenda includes approval of all bills, minutes, supplemental appropriation, line item transfers, and fund transfers, and any item of consent agenda removed from the consent agenda at the request of any board member prior to the vote on a consent agenda. Items removed from the consent agenda shall be considered by the board individually in order which they were removed from the consent agenda immediately following the consideration. And I, off right of the bat, are going to ask that we remove the January 5th organizational draft minutes from the consent agenda because they're incorrect. Yes, Mr. Carter did not attend that meeting.
Oh, my gosh. Oh, my goodness.
Good catch.
Where was he?
Is that do we need a consensus?
So, yeah, I move that we accept with the removal of the. Okay, motion been made and seconded to approve the consent agenda after removal of the January 5th, 2026 organization meeting minutes. Is there a discussion? Anyway, all those in favor of consent agenda approval with the removal of January 5th, Mr. Wolfskill, how do you vote? Mr. Hips? Mr. Simpson? On approving the agenda. I mean,
She's
the
asking
consent.
who seconded.
He motioned, I second.
Okay.
Did you
Consent
ask him
agenda,
of it? Yes, yes.
Reverend Jones?
Aye.
And I vote aye also. So now, we get to vote on the January 5th minutes, which I pulled because it needs to be corrected to show that it was Mr. Simpson in attendance, not Mr. Carter. So I move that we approve those minutes with the correction of removing Mr. Carter and putting Mr. Simpson's name in his place.
Second.
Mr. Hips has seconded that. Discussion? All those in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All right, the minutes have been corrected and approved. All right. Next, attorney's report.
Mr. Chairman, I just have one item to bring to the board's attention. It's my understanding that a proposed petition has been circulated seeking to have the Economic Development Authority dissolved. Unfortunately, I believe this is an example of how artificial intelligence software is not necessarily up to snuff, and it also should be a lesson learned in what you put in, garbage out. If you read the petition, it suggests that this board have authority to dissolve the authority pursuant to section 15.2, 6012. Unfortunately, the Economic Development Authority is not an authority that is created under that chapter of the Code of Virginia. The chapter under the Code of Virginia that does apply to the Economic Development Authority is the Industrial Development and Revenue Bond Act, which is Chapter 49. So the applicable provision related to dissolution would be 15.24914, which specifically requires that in order for the EDA to be dissolved, the EDA Board of Directors themselves have to adopt a resolution indicating that the purpose of the EDA is no longer necessary, it has been completed, and then that information is passed to the Board of Supervisors. This is not something that the community can come out and petition the dissolution of, and this board doesn't have any authority to move towards dissolution of the Economic Development Authority until such time as the EDA Board of Directors determines that their function is no longer necessary. So I just wanted to bring that to your attention.
Mr. Chairman, if I may.
Mr. Simpson?
And just to push this kind of to the logical limit of if somebody were in an effort, or a board member were in an effort to, the equivalent would be jury nullification, but jury nullification of an EDA, the process that happened with our library board is, it was basic, everybody was removed, and then people were reappointed. Can EDA members be removed at the sole discretion of the board, or do they have to have done something wrong? And there's a difference between some boards.
There would have to have been some level of malfeasance in office. And until such time as that can be proven, their term is their term in office, and the only time that they can be quote-unquote removed would be by reappointing somebody else at the end of their term.
Yes, sir. Thank you. Sorry, one additional question on that. Does that code provision, is that the one that governs any sort of debt maintained by the EDA would have to be satisfied prior to dissolution, or?
Yes, the specific language is the Board of Directors would, by resolution, must determine that the purpose for which the authority was formed has been substantially complied with, and all bonds theretofore issued and all obligations theretofore incurred by the authority have been fully paid.
And presently, that condition is not satisfied.
My understanding is no, it is not satisfied.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
All right, next up, the administrator's report.
You have before you a 5-page report. Would you like for me to go over every item? Okay. I'll tell you what, you may want to take this home, read it. If you have questions, reach out to me and I'll be happy to address them. Unless you want.
What does that one look like? Can you hold it up again? Okay, I have it.
Does that mean you would like for me to go over that?
I'm good with it.
Okay.
But, you know, that's just me. I don't know about the rest
Yeah,
of them.
I did highlight some reminders if you'll look at those and reach out to staff if you need additional information.
Okay, well, I'll move on to reports and informational items. I got one comment to make on the Appomattox County Committee, or on the sheet you put on page 48, which lists all the boards and et cetera, et cetera. I got a question on that. I see that Neil Seltz, who just got appointed to the library board, his term doesn't expire or expired before he was appointed. It should be 2029, not 2025. Am I correct? Library Board, Neil Seltz. Says terms expired July, or June, excuse me. And then the other thing that I wanted to make is that on the Regional 2000 Local Government Council, isn't that replace Mr. Wolfskill with Mr. Simpson on that? Region 2000 Local Government Council.
And then it also has Donnie Simpson on the
Yeah, well,
Blue Ridge
John's,
Trail. Yeah.
yeah, John Spencer is on there, but Mr. Wolfskill was replaced by Mr. Simpson.
Well, Mr. Chairman, I was referencing the jail authority. It still has my father and not the current sheriff.
I just thought he decided to stay on.
Yeah, he wouldn't touch that one if he's not getting paid.
And then other additional items, I included the minutes from the Workforce Development Board, and there are roughly 68 residents of Appomattox that have taken some kind of services from the Workforce Development Board. So they are servicing our county, and during the budget meeting, I'll be bringing up something on the Workforce Development Board. And then, of course, there's the school board meeting calendar there for you to read also. All right, next up, service concerns, or supervisor concerns, excuse me. Any concerns from you, Mr. Westgale? Mr. Hips?
No, sir.
Mr. Simpson, any concerns?
Just briefly, I spoke with Johnny during the recess, and I would just like to push us kind of in the direction of anytime a conditional use permit or land project comes to us, we really need to see more than a hand-drawn single map, especially when you're talking about projects of this magnitude. And I was comfortable making the decision tonight and voting for it just because, you know, I know the people who are putting it together. We heard a lot of character references that they're, you know, typically people of their word and that they're going to do it the right way. But just being involved in other land use projects and permitting projects, that single sheet would not be sufficient in probably any other jurisdiction, or very few jurisdictions. And I think it's just, we need to modernize that process, and it's just been kind of the established standard of our boards to accept that. So I would ask for us to consider it, or to consider to ask staff to see what other localities do. But that's all.
Okay, Reverend Jones?
No.
Nope. I don't have any other concerns. Hunting season's over, so that I don't have to listen to all that shooting going on there south of me in Charlotte County. All right, closed session. Yes. We do.
Mr. Chairman, we have a proposed discussion on 4 items. Given the late nature of the meeting, I think we can probably hold off on at least 3 of them, but I do know that the sheriff and the Commonwealth Attorney are here for one of the items. I think we should at least consider that one tonight.
Well, I agree with you, so do you have?
Okay. So I would suggest that it be a motion to move that the Board of Supervisors for Appomattox County enter into closed session for the limited purpose of consultation with legal counsel regarding specific legal matters requiring the provision of legal advice by such counsel related to newly adopted executive orders from Richmond pursuant to Section 2.23711A8 of the Code of Virginia.
Is there a motion to what the county attorney read?
I'll make that motion.
Mr. Simpson made the motion to go into closed session. Is there a second?
Second.
Mr. Chip, second. All in favor, signify by saying aye. Aye. All right, let's move to the closed session room. You people can stay sit, we're moving.
I think they're going up.
Would the sheriff and Commonwealth attorney join us, though?
Yeah.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
Yes.
All right, next meeting is February 17th. If there's no other business, someone make a motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn.
Seconded? Carried. All rise.
Take your name.